everyone, my name is AnitaSharma and I welcome you all on Inkpothub Media once again. So my today's guest is Dr. Yusuf Hassan and he's quite popular as Simply Management on YouTube. His channel is called as Simply Management. Both of us, Dr. Hassan and I are from the same institute, that is IIM Indore. So this video is definitely going to make me extremely nostalgic. Let me welcome Dr. Yusuf Hassan. Hi, Yusuf.
Hello, ma'am. Thank you.
So,
Thank you for inviting me.
it is really indeed my pleasure to have you on Inkpothub Media and learn from you your journey and what are you doing now. So you recently finished your PhD from IIM Indore in a very interesting topic. I'll talk about it. And then you published during your PhD program. You published 4A category, 6B, 2 cases. Like it's incredible because we all crave for such kind of achievements, and this is aspirational really. So I'm coming back to your PhD topic, which is ideologically produced authenticity of athletes, meaning and contradiction of conquering self. Okay, so tell me more about it.
So basically, my thesis, it explores the understanding of authenticity. So authenticity as a concept is originated in philosophy literature, where Aristotle and Socrates talks about being your true self or your real self. And then later this concept was drawn in the literature psychology, and now recently the concept is extensively studied in organizational study literature. So I tried to explore how the authenticity of athletes are shaped. So when I say I am true to myself, so what is this true to myself, and how the athletes have a different meanings and understanding of authenticity compared to any employee of a traditional business organization or any other context. So my underlying view or assumption is that in the contemporary times, when sports has become a serious business, then athletes are under consistent pressure to perform. And they are also under consistent pressure to project themselves as carefree and successful among their fans, franchisees, team owners, team members, and other spectators and other stakeholders. So when you are under consistent pressure and you have to perform and their money is involved, then you somehow lose your true self. And this passion of being a sports person is replaced by becoming a champion in the sports arena. So the whole understanding of my thesis is to explore this, and I interviewed 64 athletes. It also includes Olympians like Biles, Michael Pele, and also Indian athletes, para-athletes, able bodies. So I ensured that there is a heterogeneous combination of athletes from different domains and different sports. My thesis.
Okay, great. This is incredibly a very different work because when we talk about athlete and authenticity and their outcomes and the pressure which they experience, I'm sure you have really done a wonderful job while completing your PhD. Now you have joined IMT Dubai. How does it feel like exactly after your FPM you moved out of India and then experiencing altogether a different scenario? Tell me more about that part.
So I'll actually start with a very interesting fact that motivated me to come to Dubai and instead of opting for a job in India. So during my PhD itself, so I finished my PhD in November 2020. So basically 3 years, and then the whole thesis, defense, and everything took another 3-4 months. So in the meanwhile, I had offer from 2 Indian B schools, reputed private B schools, and then also from IMT Dubai. So what happened during my FPM journey itself in 2019, I lost my sister and I was in China then, and I couldn't see my sister. I couldn't come back to India and see her. And my Jiju, so he is still in Dubai working. So we are very emotionally and we are very much attached to him. So after my sister's loss, it's been very tough time for my Jiju, and he has not recovered. So coming to Dubai was not just a professional, career growth that I was looking for. It was more of an emotional support that I could render to my Jiju. So I came to Dubai only to meet him, spend some time, convince him to start his life afresh, and then maybe later I can go back and then stay with my family and so on. But definitely at the present moment, I'm enjoying this life. IMT Dubai is an amazing B school, and the people here and Dubai especially is definitely worth exploring. And so I would invite you and others to visit Dubai and of course meet me and
I will
explore places.
definitely come. So let the corona go, and uske baad mein I will definitely visit and be a part of some research, because we actually do something related to sports and management, especially on the Paralympics and para sports. So I'm a part of some of the events and things happening around. Anyway, so tell me more about this visiting scholar, Stockholm School of Economics, Sweden. So how? What is
So
this?
I
What is this all about?
So basically, I was offered a postdoc by the Stockholm School of Economics, and this happened in the month of December only. But I am kind of homesick. I am very much close to my family members, so I knew that if I would have moved to Stockholm, they were offering in crores a very good package. But the problem is, if I move to Sweden, it would be at the cost of what? Will I be able to convince my family to come with me, because they were not ready and they're still not convinced. So then I came up with an amicable solution. I said, see, I have to grow somehow, I have to look for my career, and I love you so much. So then the best solution is to become a visiting fellow, where I can go to Stockholm School of Economics, I can continue teach, then come back without having a long term and continuous association with Stockholm, where I am supposed to stay in Sweden permanently. So then they were convinced. So then I came up with this arrangement. So currently I am visiting Stockholm because of COVID situation. Of course, I am not traveling, but I am working from home, and I'm involved in a lot of projects, including the one where the president of Croatia is also involved with us. So we are trying to develop a curriculum as well as a diploma program for athletes who have played in Olympic, who have actively participated in Olympic, or who are planning to participate in upcoming Olympic Games.
Great,
So
great.
this is
So,
all what I'm doing.
so
Yeah.
Yusuf, one very interesting thing, because I also told this in your introduction, that you have published so much already as a PhD student. This is really, really aspirational, and you also are running a YouTube channel. Tell me how you managed, and what was your approach to get your your publications done, because it's really an aspirational thing for a PhD student. Because we generally get only 2 years, and then so much of output you have generated already. So tell me more about it. How this happened,
Uh,
and what was your
so,
approach?
yeah, so as soon as joined, I remember I joined on 3rd of July,
Huh.
and our registration was done on 2nd of July, and the 3rd of July I joined. And then the first thing that my seniors told me, bro, look, bro, you cannot survive in this institute unless you have a publication. You want to get into AM, you want to get into premium institute, you need to have publication. Then I realized that till the time I didn't know anything about research. I mean, I know how, what research is done. I mean, what kind of research is being done, but I really don't know the nuances of those research.
Huh.
So then I said, "Hey, if I dedicate 2 years for my coursework, definitely I would have made myself a master in coursework. But then this would also result in me lagging in terms of research point of view. So why not start research and coursework simultaneously?"
Hmm.
So I remember by the end of July, I had drafted a paper that was suitable to be submitted in C journal, ABDC C journal, and by August I had submitted, and by
So
November
by
I
the
had
end
two
of
Bs already due.
Yusuf, by end of what, like 2018, or because you joined in 2017, and
2017.
in just 1 month or 1 year, you you were able to
So
like.
in 2 months I had papers under review, and by the end of an year I had one C and one B, and by next year I had four Bs. I think
Oh my
by
God. Okay.
2018 end I had four Bs, and of course the publication took another 4-5 months, so it got published online in 2019. And by
Huh.
20 I had like 20 December I had 3 As. So and by 2021 January I had 4 As. and of course 6 B's
Okay.
and C's. So it was like I did everything simultaneously. And if you look at my research, I didn't limit myself to sports or HRM or any particular domain. I realized that if I have to teach PGP program, the MBA programs or undergrads, I need to know at least the basic of almost everything about management. And since I had a background in social work, that actually came very handy, where I used my understanding about case research, my understanding about quality research, and utilize it, work extensively with people. So I wrote 100, 200 mails to scholars across the world and got response from 2 or 3. And then some of them agreed, some disagreed. Whosoever agreed, then I collaborated, and then finally started working on some paper or the other. So it was a mutual learning for everyone who was involved. I always ensure that everybody should come in picture, everybody should become a co-author and collaborate instead of me doing the task alone, because then the learning will not involve in that case. So be it marketing, operations, or HR or sports, I tried to explore everything, whatever that could have been possible during that time.
Okay. So it means that you worked more towards collaboration. You also were very, very dedicated and focused and disciplined towards writing, constantly
Right.
reading. That is something that I can sense. And then I just want to know, like, was there any routine you followed, or it was just random things were happening and you were taking it as it is, the way they were coming to you? So how this
There's
happened?
something. So there is something that I always advise to myself and to other people, is that I developed a habit of reading one research paper every day, even till
Okay.
date. I remember that it's if it's 365 days, I'll make sure that I should read 366 articles instead of 365. Even if I have to read 2 articles in a day, if I miss on a particular day. So that is a habit that I have developed, and that actually helped. So believe me, when I joined in 2017, by August I had developed that habit, and since August 2017 until date, I have been reading one research paper, be it ABDC, B, C, A. There is no such restriction. There is no such restriction in terms of domain, area. I read whatever paper that comes to me, but I read every day. I go through the abstract, introduction, major research gap that they are trying to explore, and what are the limitation and future research direction that they want to suggest. Now, when I go through that future research direction at this stage, when I have already read around 1,000 or 2,000 papers, now I am able to understand which research problem is actually a major limitation that can be explored as a doctoral research or for a good reputed journal if I have to write a paper. So now I have started noting down those research problems, those gaps that they have mentioned, and then maybe at the end of a month or two, then I go through it and see if there is a possibility for some collaboration. Then I write a mail to somebody, either a faculty or student. I say, see, this is an idea. If you're okay, I'm okay. I'll work for 5-7 hours, and definitely I have a habit of working for around 14 to 15 hours. That is my average, but that is for me. I'm not asking or recommending people to do that, but I sleep very less, around 5 hours. So that's my habit. So I spend at least 14 hours for work, including academic work. So, and this has been consistent for the last 5-7 years that I have been following.
Oh, wow. So the best advice is don't sleep and then keep
No,
on
no,
reading.
no, definitely not. So I made a mistake. In fact, I started facing issue with my eyesight and many other things. So one should not do that. This is a habit that I followed, and it actually worked in my case. Might not be a very useful in other. I am not a very sharp guy who will remember everything. So it takes some time to read and recall everything. So that is the
Okay,
reason.
so one obvious question which comes to my mind, like, because we've already published so much, so you might have had a very challenging paper to get published. So tell me more about that paper, which paper that was, and how did you manage to get it published, or not manage, but
So I'll be very
how
honest.
did you
Yeah.
work on getting it published?
So to those who feel that publication is simply the easy ball of game, it's not. I would definitely like to share a moment where I met with 16 rejections for one paper. And that paper got rejected again and again, even at the editorial stage itself. So and it goes through 16 rejections before it got published in a B journal, not even in an A journal.
Hmm.
So there has been a moment where I faced situation. There had also been a paper recently got published in Journal of Business Research. So that paper took 3 years, and for that paper, for somebody who is not very pro towards mathematics and data and statistics, I was forced to learn Thomson Reuters. I in fact hacked through my institute's Thomson Reuters database, made it available to my institute hostel room. Earlier, we
Hmm.
used to go to the library, sit there, and then only we could have access it. Now I hacked it and made sure that it is available even in my hostel room, just because I needed data. So
Hmm.
I did whatever I could have done to collect data. And even after spending 6 months, me and a colleague of mine, my batchmate, we spent 6 months and we could have collected only 108 sample sets. So imagine, it took 6 months to collect their data, and it took 3 years before that paper finally got published. So then when you experience so much toughness and challenges, and when that paper get published, you actually feel satisfied, and you see, okay, this is what I have done. I have contributed something to the literature and to the academia. So
Hmm.
that makes you feel proud. And definitely, be it a C paper or B or A star paper, challenge is there. You cannot underestimate that a paper published in C is not at par with a paper published in A. Every paper has a life, has a destiny to achieve. All we
Hmm.
have to is to accept the fact that yes, this paper is weak, I have to develop it and then further submit it. Or okay, I'm fine with the current state of this paper, and so I will submit it to a journal which is not in the top tier. So we
Hmm.
have to be very acceptable in that nature. Initially, I was reluctant. I always targeted A star, Academy of Management journal. Later I realized, no, let's just start with C, move to B, now A, and now I am trying to publish in A star and FT50 journal. So I don't feel bad about following this stepwise journey instead of just
Hmm.
targeting A star and leaving behind what I could have done or what I have done till date.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
this is all about my challenges that.
Okay, so Yusuf, a lot of people doesn't know about one decision you made, and because when we were talking informally, I got to know about a very interesting point which you, or maybe a very interesting life defining decision which you took. You quit Indian Army
True.
and then went into social work, and then you joined the FPM program. Tell me more about it. Like, why did you quit? Somebody, this is again an inspirational thing that people want to serve the Indian Army. You quit that job, you quit that Indian Military Academy, and then worked somewhere, and then IIM Indore. How? Tell me more about it.
Okay, ma'am. So the whole journey started in 2013. I was very much passionate about getting into armed forces, possibly because of two reasons. One, because I feel and assume that this is one platform where I could have contributed significantly towards my country and towards my people. I'm very much emotionally attached to my country and my people. Second thing, my family has a background where I have two set of people, one who are serving in the armed forces, my chachu and other, and second a set of my father and other who are IAS officers serving in the civil services. So as I discussed with you informally, so they are together. I mean, together they keep on pushing me either to go on the either sides. So when it came to the choices, so my brother and other, they opted for civil services. I decided that I want to get into armed forces, and this is where I didn't prepare as such. I did my graduation from Hindu College Philosophy
Hmm.
honors, and during my final year I said that no, I want to get into armies anyhow. So then I started reading some GS book and all, and by December my results were out. I made it to the merit list 157 rank all India, and I was allocated both Indian Military Academy as well as short service in the
Hmm.
Officers Training Academy Chennai.
Hmm.
So I opted for Indian Military Academy, but things turned a little weird in my family, because now they realize that their son is going to get into armed forces, and he is like kind of crazy guy. He will go to the border and then he will do something. So they, and I always imagine myself wrapped in the flag. This is something
Oh
sounds
my
very
God.
utopian, but I always imagine myself wrapped in the flag and coming back to my home. I mean, my corpse coming back to home, and then I know my family might have felt bad, but for me this would have been a proud moment, sacrificing my life. This is something I have always been passionate about.
Yusuf,
So they knew that.
my brother is in defense, so I can relate to the feeling which you are experiencing right now,
Absolutely,
or maybe you
absolutely
might have experienced during those days. It is making me
true.
nostalgic. It is making me feel like that emotional, proud moment. Okay, tell me more about it. Like what happened?
So,
So
so
that
then in
grenade
January
attack.
I joined. Yeah, in January I joined Indian Military Academy. It was 156 batch, and of course my very close friends, they also qualified. So Jiben and Aditya, they will all my friends now. They are major in the armed forces, so they also joined. And I was passionate to get into para forces somehow and perform well. So in the next 3-4 months, we met with extensive training program. We attended that, and this is where I met with some injuries, both in my legs and my cheeks and other parts of my body. So then my family had a reason. So now they knew that this is the time when we can convince him to quit the service and come back for civil service and so on. Initially I was reluctant, but then at the end of the day, you also have to think about your family. You also have to think about their goodwill, because they have done a lot to you throughout your life. So then I decided to quit. I had to pay some money because that is part and parcel of the system. I mean, because if you are quitting before the timing training period, that you have to pay. And once I came back, then I was clueless what to do. So a graduate philosophy doesn't want to pursue a master's philosophy. 3 years philosophy was enough for me. I couldn't tolerate more. It was a torture. So what should I do? So then I told my parents, see, I want to pursue social work. And I got to know that Tata Institute of Social Science and Delhi School of Social Work, they are the two premier institutes where I can join. So they said, okay, then we appear for the entrance. So I cracked the TISC, Tata Institute of Social Sciences, and Delhi School of Social Work entrance. And in the meanwhile, my sister, she was in Jamia pursuing her mass comm. She was also curious. She said, I also want to pursue social work. She also appeared for Delhi School of Social Work. So then my parents said that we won't allow you to go to TISC. I had qualified both of them. Your sister is joining social work at Delhi University. Why don't you come with her? You should join her. So I said, okay, it's fine. So I joined Delhi School of Social Work. These 2 years were actually very life changing for me. I experienced something very different. When I was in the armed forces, I had a view, मरना है मारना है वाला काइंड ऑफ व्यू पॉइंट. ऑफिसर्स डिफरेंट ऑफिसर्स लाइक क्वालिटीज तो होते ही हैं. जब सोशल वर्क में आया तो मुझे दूसरा पर्सपेक्टिव दिखा. आई रियलाइज हाउ लाइफ इज टेकिंग केयर ऑफ. सो आई वाज एक्टिवली इंडल्ज in raid and rescue operations. I used to go to the brothels with police and enforcement forces. I used to rescue minors, because in India minors cannot be forced to get into slave trade. So I was in the raid and rescue operations. I had conducted more than 16 raid and rescue operations in 2 years, and that was very life changing for me when I met people, victims, and talked to them and realized what kind of life and torture they had undergone. And during that period of time, I met a faculty who came for a guest lecture in my institute, Hari Parmeshwar sir. He is basically a retired professor of XLRI, from XLRI. So he told me that FPM program is there offered by IIMs, so one should try for that. So I casually asked him, sir, what is the criteria to get into? He said, you should have a CAT score. Okay. Sir, anything else? You should have a JRF, then also it's fine. Okay, then it's fine. Then he said, try to score good in the JRF. I said, okay, fine. So in that year, I started preparing for a JRF, and I secured All India rank 1 in the UGC-JRF rank, because I thought this is the best I could do to ensure that they should take him. And meanwhile, I didn't apply to the IIMs, because by the time my JRF score came back, the application for IIMs had already gone. So I decided to join IIT Patna. It was my hometown also, and very close to my family. So I decided, let's join IIT Patna in the PhD program, and I can continue preparing for CAT exam this time, because CAT I had this thing in my mind, the B schools usually prefer those with good mathematical aptitude and so on. So they will not take me with JRF score. So I'll try with the CAT score. So in 2016, I appeared for CAT exam, and I scored 97.4 percentile CAT. So I had both CAT and JRF score with me. And then I applied to IIMs. I got call from 8 of the IIMs, and IIM Indore was the oldest among them. I was passionate to get into IIM Trichy. To be very honest, my family and I always wanted to get into IIM Trichy. Luckily, fortunately or unfortunately, my uncle was posted in Mau, which is a army cantonment. So he was posted there. So he convinced my parents, no, you should let him go to IIM Indore. That's a premier institute. Don't let him go to the IIM Trichy. And we always had this viewpoint that South Indian states are more, more proactive and encouraging in terms of education. So one should go there. So somehow he convinced. I was initially upset. I joined IIM Indore, but I think that was the best decision in my life. Joining IIM Indore changed my life completely, and whoever I am today, whatever I am today, is all because of IIM Indore. I owe everything to IIM Indore, my faculties, my colleagues, and seniors like you.
Thank you so much. This is very nice to hear. Okay, tell me more about your YouTube channel because a lot of people know in the
Yeah.
IIM fraternity you as simply management. Tell me more about it. How did this happen? Why did you start that YouTube channel? And when we started Inkpothub's channel, we started with a different perspective, but then wanted to help people to make their career decisions in the FPM program. But by the time I got to know about your channel, which was very fascinating, and I follow you. There is one more reason why I follow you because it makes me extremely nostalgic because I can see that FPM block, FPM
Yes.
room. So yeah, so that is extremely nostalgic, and I follow you on your channel. So tell me more about it. Like, why did you start that?
Yeah, so it all started in 2017. What happened? I told you that faculty, visiting faculty suggested me to apply for the FPM program.
Hmm.
So as a faculty, he gave me an idea, but he couldn't tell me what are the challenges in terms of preparation for FPM program, what are the expected questions that I'm supposed to face, and so on. So I started writing mails to FPMs who were at that point of time who were enrolled with different IIMs
Hmm.
extensively, and I
Hmm.
expected them to help me in some form or the other. Unfortunately, I couldn't receive much support from the fellows in terms of guidance. And then I realized, okay, if I get into even one of the IIM, be it a newer IIM or a baby IIMs, if I get into one of them, I'll make sure that those who are aspiring to get into a FPM program or any PhD program in these schools, they shouldn't face that problem. And I'm very honest with that. Yes, I didn't get any receive any response at that
Hmm.
point of time. So
Hmm.
in 2017, July I joined IIM Indore, and the very same moment I started preparing myself to train those who want to get into FPM program next year. And
Hmm.
so I started a Super 20 for IIM program. It's free of cost mentorship program, and this is started with Simply Management YouTube channel. Today it has around 57 to 60,000 views. So we started with that in 2018. 14 out of 20 candidates qualified FPM program through that mentorship program. In 19 people out of 20 qualified FPM program. In 2020, 17 people out of 20 qualified FPM program. So these are direct mentees of mine.
Hmm. Hmm.
Overall, 140 candidates who were associated with my YouTube channel. I have a record of their names who were associated with FPM, my YouTube channel, directly or indirectly. They qualified across different IITs and IIMs. And today, even yesterday only, I got a news that this year batch, among the this year batch, 6 candidates have qualified, 4 have joined IIM Amritsar, where you served as a faculty, and one is expected to join IIM Indore, and another one has qualified IIM Udaipur. So now more promising results, and I expect that all the 20 candidates who have mentored personally, they will qualify and made it to some of the IIM this year, definitely. So
Awesome.
this is Simply Manager's journey of Simply Manager. Now more people have joined. Whosoever qualifies, they have to promise verbally as well as in terms of some mail or something, that they will ensure that they will guide at least 2 to 3 people in the next batch. So
Hmm.
then we have created some sort of chain where each
Hmm.
individual helps the other individual helps another person, and so on.
Hmm.
We believe that today, at one point of time in future, this chain will connect all the academician in India and abroad. So this is what we are aiming for. This is our goal and agenda that we are trying to achieve through Simply Management.
Yusuf, I can see a lot of synergies over here, and I am actually very thankful to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for inviting me. It was great talking to you, interacting, because you are not just somebody representing Inkpot, but also an alumni. So I feel delighted to share my experiences, and would love to help you and Inkpot team in any manner, whatever possible. And
Thank
of
you.
course, all the team members are invited, and I invite you to come to Dubai and have a visit, pay a visit, and enjoy the life here. And definitely, if I'm visiting India, definitely I would love to meet you and your team.
I am teaching at IMT Ghaziabad as a visiting professor right now. So
Great, great, great.
sometime very soon in
Def-
IMT Dubai.
Definitely, definitely,
But I
definitely.
will visit, not on the online medium.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
So,
thank you so much. I can see you are truly a family man. You prefer a lot of things which can make many people happy, and your sacrifices helped a lot of people to stay happy forever. So thank you so much for coming over and sharing your insights and your viewpoints, your approaches towards life to all of us. Thank you so much.
Press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.